Hi everybody, and big welcome to cEDH TV gameplay with another gameplay match. With us today, me and Pontus, and we have Snuske.
Yo.
And Zach.
Hey guys, back again.
Today I'm bringing Tivit. I haven't really played this deck at all, so I figured it's time for me to try it. This is Golden Sabertooth's list that made top 16 in the cookouts, so I'm gonna try some Tivit.
So this is Talion, the Kindly Lord. This was originally brewed up by Memo, in collaboration with Lauren, and it's a heavy control list. I've been tinkering with it with Memo over the last few days. We're still not 100% satisfied, but it needs more testing. So I thought I'd bring it here. Got all the cool stuff. It's got stifle effects, all the counter spells, and wins with either Bloodchief Ascension and Mindcrank at the moment, or your typical fastest Oracle. Bloodchief Ascension, Mindcrank is the one we're trying to move away from. We're just trying to find the right thing to do with it. So it's going to be fun.
So this is Vadrik. You've all seen what it can do over the last few weeks. It's kind of a typical Storm list. A couple of empty slots. I'm just trialing a few different cards, and we'll just see what happens really. So I have a 100% win rate at the minute with 4 out of 4, so let's see if we can make it a 5th win.
Me, I'm playing my Thrasios Vile Smasher, where is it, Ad Nauseam deck, running Mana Bond and Valakut and a lot of lands. It's a very basic combo deck, trying to resolve an Adnos, or sit and try to activate Thrasios towards the victory. Both a kind of fast combo deck together with some mid-range potential. Now with that, let's take a look at some opening hands.
Let's start off with a starting 7. No acceleration except for LED, which technically helps us cast Tivit, I guess. I'm not gonna keep this. So this isn't the fastest pod. Me and Snuske both on like control-ish decks, and Mons is on NOS, but it's not the fastest Adnos. So keeping 2 lands, a 2-mana rock, and a counter isn't the worst thing I've ever heard of. The problem though is that our rock is tapped, so we don't actually represent any interaction. Otherwise I would kind of consider this, but the fact that it's a dmir signet and not like a arcane signet or something like that makes this hand not really be something I would like to consider, so I'll go to 6. This is a turn 2 Smothering Tithe, and I think that's always just good enough. Funnily enough, I think the card I would be looking to bottom here is almost Adnos. I think bottoming Adnos is the wrong call. I think Smothering Tithe with all the mana makes Adnos be the prime choice to keep here. But I'm very tempted to keep the Dalthy. The problem is that no one really cares about the Dalthy here. We have half a Breach deck. And that's basically it for Dalthy, so Dalthy has to go and I have the mana. But yeah, this is a pretty good keep. As long as Smothering Tithe resolves, I have a Silence as backup as well. Hopefully our Smothering Tithe doesn't get countered. That would suck.
Tad too slow, like Aristic isn't bad, but it comes out turn 3. And we really want to either power out Aristic Study or power out a Talion early on. So this is just not good enough. Similar issue here, just some mana. Offer can be used for some fun stuff early on, but we don't really have anything to hit of our own stuff with Offer, so we'll go to 6. This is perfectly acceptable. Probably just going to let go of the Diabolic Intent. That's mostly used to get rid of Talion if we're going for a Thoracle win. And also lets us tutor up protection because the draw on Talion is not a May, it's a forced draw, so that can be scary. We'll definitely bottom that. And then we have options. If people set up some draw engines, we can go for the Notion Thief, or we can just go for the turn 2 Talion. So we'll keep this and take it from there.
First start hand, we don't have much really. We've got like turn 1 Chrome Mox, we've got a little bit of interaction with March, but I think I'll go for a second 7. Okay, so again Chrome Mox, but doesn't really get us anywhere. We can go turn 2 Commander. I feel like I could do some more protection and stuff, so we'll try again. I'll go down to 6. Okay, this is good. We've got interaction, we've got lands, we've got crypt. Yeah. I actually think we bottom the Desperate Ritual here. Keep the interaction, keep the tutor. Just go for it that way, I think.
So this hand is not good. It is good, but the big problem with it is that our lands that produce the colors we need, green and blue here, comes into play tapped, and that is just a big hurt when you're playing this deck, I guess. The 2 lands are really key for this deck, but we usually prefer to tutor them out or put them into play when we don't care about lands coming into play tapped. But now in the opening hand, we kinda do care that they're coming to play tapped, because we can't do turn 1 Mystic Remora, and we can't do turn 1 Carpet. If we had a forest in our hand, we could probably keep this, because we could do turn 1 Carpet and potentially do Mystic Remora afterwards. However, I don't like slow hands, so we're gonna mulligan and hope for better. Perfect. This is great. So we have Arid Misa, that can become white. No, it can become Volcanic Island or a Taiga. And with that, we can have our Mystic Remora turn 1. We could also play Mountain and play Ragavan turn 1. I think we're gonna go Mystic Remora turn 1 though. But regardless, this is a great hand. I'm really happy. Let's start the match.
I will draw for turn. Land for turn will be this command tower, and I will pass.
Let's draw for turn. We'll do a Underground River, and we'll cast a Mana Crypt. And I will pass the turn.
I will draw. I will play Fiery Isolate, cast my Mana Crypt, and then I shall pass the turn.
Draw a card. Arid Misa. Sacrifice it.
I will respond yes. Do you want double value on the uppo, Sneske? A Lightning Tutor. Good with humans. I'll find the Mana Crypt.
I will find a Volcanic Island and tap that to cast a Mystic Remora. And then I pass the turn.
Land for turn will be this Verdant Catacombs. I would like to fetch Underground Sea. I would like to cast this Mana Crypt. Give me a draw.
In response to the fish trigger on the Mana Crypt, I would like to lose 1 tapping the Underground River. Floating 1, cast a Orcish Bowmasters. ETB, and on the draw from Mons, I would like to have Mons lose 2 life.
I take 2.
And I have an Orc army.
Tap 4 for this Wandering Tide.
I would like to draw a card.
Sure, Mons, take 1.
I think I see where this is going.
With Tide in play, I will pass the turn.
Upkeep, roll for Crypt. Odds or AoE. It's a 4, I'm safe. Draw for turn.
Trigger Tide.
Yeah, you can have a treasure. Play the City of Brass to cast my commander, Talion. Talion's effect is kind of iffy. It's still up for discussion. Basically, what it says is when it enters the battlefield, or as it enters, it's not a trigger, you choose a number between 1 and 10. Whenever an opponent casts a spell with the same mana value, or a creature with power or toughness of the number you picked, that player loses 2 life and I draw a card. The big debate currently is if you choose 1 or 2. Both hit a lot of stuff. Turbo decks in general are all about the 1-drops and the 2-drops. They're pretty even in that regard, but a lot of the more important spells are on 2. And Talion wants the big counter wars to happen, to have a lot of triggers. So in that regard, 2s are often pretty good as well, because it's a lot of the setups, it's a lot of the talismans, the arcane signets, just a lot of general value stuff. And then when you start facing green decks, it starts to pivot more towards 1-drops. So it's often really hard to figure out what you're actually picking. So a lot of the time it's mostly just a 50-50. In this case, with how the board is looking, I have no idea. So let's flip a coin this time. Evens, it's a 2. We're picking 1, because I don't know how to make choices by myself. I would like to move to combat. There's a Nas deck at the table with a fish in play.
I'm not feeling so strong anymore. So we have 2 Adnos players, Tivit and me, but Tivit's board state, much better.
Also realized I probably should have picked 2. Pontus, take 4.
Why?
Because I said so.
So I take damage, flipped head, so I will play a Bloodstone Mire, correct my Bloodstone Mire. I'll get a Volk Island into play for a Vadrik. Go ahead and draw, pass the turn.
I'm going to untap. I don't have much going for me besides this fish, if I'm gonna be honest. We're gonna be at the mercy of everything, and yeah, we're gonna pay for fish. And then we're gonna draw a card for turn. I cannot pay for Smothering Tide. Pontus, you can have a treasure. I'm gonna cast a Mana Crypt, and we're gonna play a Mountain. And here I'm gonna pass the turn, holding back. 7 cards in hand exactly.
Untap, upkeep, I will roll for Crypt, odds damage. I rolled a 5, take 3. Draw for a turn. Land for turn will be a Exotic Orchard. Yeah, silence. You may draw a card. You may draw a spell, Mons.
I had a feeling that was happening. Yeah, you can lose 2.
I just realized something. Fish might be good here. Or, Snusky, we might need to have a conversation. Like, I don't actually have an interaction here.
Do you think I do?
No, I don't think you do either. If I draw a card, he takes a damage from your Bowmaster. But also he gains a treasure. So there's
I think it's more important to not give him the mana.
Like, if we think he has Tivit Times Eve, then it doesn't matter.
I have 2 cards in hand.
I'm gonna draw one.
You can take one, Pontus, and I'll draw for Talion.
Silence resolves.
All these blue decks and no one has interaction? I know I'm this control deck, but I didn't keep any.
You know how you asked if I was an Adnos Neskia? Here it is. I found it. Fish trigger, yeah.
I will draw a card. Maybe there's a... I draw a card.
Trigger Bowmaster, triggers Mothering Tide.
You can have a treasure.
Pontus takes 1.
I make a treasure and take 1 damage. Adnos resolves.
Yeah.
This is not an Adnos deck though.
Last time you went first with Adnos in a Turbo Adnos deck, you died. So let's see.
Yeah, that's what we call skill issue.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
I will start flipping. Watergrave, Windfall, Otavara, Offer You Can't Refuse, Lotho, Thassa's Oracle, Tainted Pact.
Don't you already have the mana? Your head is blocking the treasure count, but do you have...
I have that way, 5 mana.
Yeah, then you won. And you're silenced, so...
It's objectively right to keep flipping though. Take 3, Prince Grasp.
I know that it's correct to keep flipping, Pontus, but you can end it here.
2 mana, I'll cast this Thassa's Oracle. And then in response to TP, I will cast this Tainted Pact. I will exile until I have 1 card left in deck. And ETB Thassa's Oracle, I win the game. Good game.
Well, that went fast. Let's do our game 2.
Let's see what we can do with the first 7. It would be nice to get the Bloodchief Ascension online early, but with no real follow-up, that's not really something I feel like I can justify. And the Toxic Deluge is mostly relevant for dealing with Tivit. I don't really want to keep this hand. I'd rather have a turn 2 Talion. With this being first 7, we can definitely do better, I hope. I spoke too soon. Land Soul Ring. If we get a black source, we cast Talion turn 2. And then we have a misstep. There's no world where we don't play the Soul Ring turn 1. Keep going to 6. Another very interactive hand with very little mana. Also not something that I'm too fond about. We'll try and go for 5. Wow. This deck runs 30 lands. This is not supposed to happen. Definitely can't keep this. Gonna go to 4. Question is, do we still have to keep the gemstone just to get the mana rolling? With how this hand looks, I would say no. So being a 4, we're probably gonna have to bottom at least the gemstone. I don't see us using the Toxic Deluge early here, and we're not playing against heavy creature decks anyways. It's mostly just commanders. Bottom that one as well. So we're playing fish turn 1. We're likely paying for it on turn 2 unless we're getting fed a lot. So it's likely that we have either Swan Song or Mystical Tutor up. The world where we cast Counterbalance turn 2, we get a land and a bunch of other stuff, but then there's probably better stuff to do anyways. So I think the question just is, what do we do with the Mystical Tutor? If we get a second land, that could be a Dark Rid for the Talion on turn 3. The fish going away to replace the draw engine. Yes, I think we're going to bottom the Counterbalance here. That was rough.
Okay, so someone explain to me, why do I hate this hand? This should be good, no? But why do I hate this? Okay, so the reason I don't immediately like this hand is because Mana Vault, Rustic, Twister, Oppo. Those are like different directions. So this hand is a turn 2 Rustic Study, guaranteed. Another land doesn't really help us, but if we draw into like a Signet or a 2-mana rock, it's actually pretty good because we can get down a 2-mana rock plus Rustic Study turn 2. The problem is we're tapping out for Rustic Study and we have no mana development left. We're looking to go a long game. Rustic Study is the best engine in this pod. Twister isn't really where I want to be here. We might need it, but I don't think it's something we want to mulligan for. Oracle is nice, but it's not something we need to begin with. And the Pact isn't live. Not for a while. So I think this hand is technically good, but can I mulligan a turn 2 Rustic? The Rhystic has to do so much work for this hand to be viable, is the problem. If the Rhystic gets countered, or they just pay for Rhystic, this hand does nothing. Yeah, that's my issue. And I think the risk of Rhystic getting countered or them respecting Rhystic enough for me to not get the gas I need from just one land is high enough that I don't want to keep this. I figured out why I don't like this hand, so I will mill again. Yeah, no mana, no keep. So this hand would be a turn 1 land, a Lightning Tutor for Mana Crypt, or I guess Sol Ring works as well. Mana Crypt / Sol Ring into Talisman. That is fine. From turn 3 we have Notion Thief mana. This is my 6, so I would probably bottom the Consult, because Consult isn't something we're actively looking for. Notion Thief on Talion is pretty much what's carrying this hand, and if we draw land turn 2, it's actually pretty decent. If we don't, we're still in a okay spot, not as good, but okay. And we have a lot of interaction, not counter, no counter spells, but we have Silence and Path, and those are fine. I think this is a keep. Please tell me why I'm wrong for mulliganing the Rhystic Study and keeping this in the comments.
So I actually kind of like this hand. We have a fish, and with fish we will draw into cool stuff. I liked my previous hand in the previous game a lot more. Biomancer's Familiar is really good inside this deck. It's one of the powerhouse creatures that's enabling Thrasios activations quite a lot. It is something you want to throw down like later in the game, so I'm not super happy about having it in my hand. It would be better to have a counterspell. In general, this hand has a lot of lands only. However, with a fish we should get going somewhat, because my opponents aren't like famous for holding back, unless there's like an Ogrish Bowmaster again. That would be annoying. But I think I'm gonna keep this. I like fish. I like hands that start with fish turn 1. And we will have lands for days to put into play to pay for a fish. Like, this is a hand that is going for a longer game. You can absolutely argue to mulligan this, but this is not a deck that like wanna sit and mulligan too often. And this is a hand that actually is gonna work out fine. So I'm gonna keep it. Let's take a look at what Zach is able to find.
Okay, we have nothing here, so let's throw that away. Yes, okay, this is something. Start with a Git probe on whoever I think is most likely to have removal. We'll just see where we grind from there.
Draw for my turn. I will shock in this Watery Grave, taking 2. Cast this Mystic Remora. Please have mercy.
Why did it have to be a mono blue land? I can't keep up Notion Thief turn 2 of this land. That's so annoying. Oh well, that's life, I guess. I will play a Misty Rainforest, and I'll pass.
I will be kind to our friend Snuske and play a Scalding Tarn and crack it. I will find a Volcanic Island, tap it for blue, and I will cast my own Mystic Remora, and you can draw a card. And now we can be fish buddies. Pass!
I will play a Training Center as my land for turn. Pay 2 life and I will Git probe mons. You can both draw.
These cards, a lot of lands as you can see.
Are we okay for me to draw off my Git probe? I will play Jeweled Lotus, you guys can draw. I'll then attempt to cast a Vadrik. And I will pass the turn.
I will pay for the fish. I will play an Underground Sea. Cast a Mana Crypt.
Okay, I'll respond to Mana Crypt here.
Why?
I would like to fetch.
Fine.
Finding a Tundra, and then still in response to Mana Crypt, cast a Lightning Tutor. May both draw.
Thank you.
Lightning resolves, I would like to find a Sol Ring. And then I pass on Mana Crypt.
Cast a Weathered Runestone, controlling the decks that don't exist at this table. Pass turn.
Go to my turn. Play Otawara, land for turn. Not paying for fishes. Tap Sol Ring for a Talisman of Dominance, and then I'll pass my turn.
We have a lot of cards. Untap. I think I'm gonna let the fish die now. He did a really good job. Draw a card. Wow, that was perfect. Land drop Taiga, tap it for green, and I would like to cast an Exploration. The Mystic Remora can draw a card. I will play an extra land, which is this Verdant Catacomb, and I will sacrifice it immediately. I will put a Bayou into play, tap Bayou, and I will follow up with a Burgeoning, so I can empty my hand. And fish can draw a card. I just realized maybe I should have paid for fish. I'm discarding these cards to the graveyard, and then I pass the turn.
I'm going to play a Riverglide Pathway.
I am going to put a Field of the Dead into play because of burgeoning.
I'm just going to move to my end step and pass the turn.
It's nighttime, I'm guessing?
At the start of your turn, it will become nighttime.
Sure, untap. Crypt trigger and a fish trigger. I will roll for crypt first. Odds is owie. It's a 3. I take 3. Sure, we'll pay for jokes on humans. I don't have any lands. Cast this Jewel Lotus. Cast a Talion. It will enter, and I will name 2. I'm going to discard a counter spell.
Daytime. Vadrik will get a counter.
Take my turn. That's sad. I wish I had more mana. I will just pass.
I will untap and draw a card. Land into play tapped and resolve a Thrasios. And that's all I'm gonna do. Lose 2 life and Talion will draw a card.
I will respond to your trigger. I want to draw cards as well.
You want to
Take
draw
my numbers.
cards as well, huh?
Yes, I draw as well as
I will actually respond to this by cycling this land.
We'll respond to the cycle. I'm going to pay 1 blue for a Fact or Fiction.
I am okay with Fact or Fiction.
I pass.
Reveal an island, a heuristic study, a deflecting swat, a cursed totem, and a whirlwind denial.
Does Whirlwind Denial counter creatures?
Whirlwind Denial will counter the Thrasios, the Notion Thief, the Talion, and the Cycle ability.
Oh, it counters all spells and abilities on the stack?
Unless you pay 4 mana, yeah, for each one.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, but it depends what piles you guys choose.
Sounds hot.
Talion, if you can split the piles.
If I give you Whirlwind Denial, will you use it right here?
I will if you give it to me with something else worthwhile. If you put that in one stack, I'm not going to take it.
I'll just put Whirlwind Denial and Ristic Study in one pile.
That's a
yes,
little bit too good.
It's fine.
So Whirlwind Denial to counter all spells and abilities my opponents control, unless you pay 4 mana per thing.
I do have a fish trigger though.
You do draw 1 from.
I pass on this spell.
This counters like everything. It will stop my land activation and my Thrasios. Yeah, I pass.
Cool. Big fan.
And then I will play an extra land drop for turn and yeah, pass the turn.
I'll path the Vadrik.
Yes, I unfortunately have to pass on this as well.
Path to exile resolves.
It goes to the command zone. I will tutor a island into play. Okay, untap, upkeep, draw. I will play a snow-covered mountain. Dockside Extortionist. For ETB trigger, I will gain 7 treasures. I will sack 3 treasures. I will cast a Ristic. You may draw off Mystic Remora.
I would like to respond to the Ristic Study with a Swan Song.
Honestly, I'm not a fan.
You were not supposed to be.
Sure. Ristic Study is countered. I'm gonna Winds of Rebuke my Dockside.
Trigger Talion and fish.
You can draw twice.
I'll show you a Fierce Guardianship.
Jesus.
He has too many cards.
It is countered.
Start off with a Crypt trigger. Odds is owie. It's a 3 again. I'll take another 3. And then we have a fish trigger. It's time to let fish go. Draw for turn. Hey, we drew a land. The Cephalic Colosseum. Let's play that. I will take 1 and cast my own Ristic Study. Let's swing 3 at Mons.
I take 3.
And now we have to move to discard. I have 11 cards in my hand. I'm keeping these cards and discarding a Grafdigger's Cage, Mindcrank, Praetor's Grasp, and a Demonic Consultation.
Go to my turn. Exciting magic. Pass the turn.
Untap and draw a card. 4 mana. And play Thrasios, losing 2 life. You can draw a card. But I'm paying for Ristic Study. I will also cast a Biomancer's Familiar and trigger Talion once more, losing 2 more life. And this time around I can't pay for Ristic Study though. Snuske, Talion, I'm punching you for 2.
That is okay. Take 2.
Pass turn.
Untap, upkeep, draw. 1, 2, 3. Crack 2 treasures. Attempt to cast Vadrik. Cannot pay for Ristic. I will pay 3 life and bolt in a Shatter Skull. I shall swing 3 at Talion, is it?
Yep.
I will then pass a turn.
And roll for Crypt. It's a 5 this time. I still take 3. Draw for turn. Play Underground River. Mox Opal. I will cast a Lotus Petal. Cast a Narset. Parter of Veils. Very good control piece. If Narset's good, I would like to -2 Narset right away. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's an Imperial Seal. The rest go on the bottom. Tap another 2, taking 1 from the Cephalic Colosseum. I will cast a Ashiok. My opponents can't search their libraries. -1. Target player mills 4. All opponents exile their libraries. Or graveyards. Sorry, graveyards. I'm going to -1 Ashiok, and I would like to target Pontus.
I will mill Mana Crypt, Teferi, Windswept Teeth, and a Touch the Spirit Realm.
All my opponents exile their graveyards. I would like to move to my end step. I need to discard some cards.
Let's see if I get to cast cards. I will untap and draw and pass.
Untap and draw. I will play this mountain and make another zombie. I would like to activate Thrasios by paying 2. Looking at the top, I will put that to the bottom because I cannot draw it. Reveal a Utopia Sprawl. Stays on top. Pontus, I will punch you for 5.
Sure, no blocks, take 5.
Pass turn.
Untap, upkeep, draw. I think I passed the turn.
In your end step, we're gonna activate Thrasios, put this Utopia Sprawl on the bottom of library, and reveal a Deathrite Shaman goes to my hand.
That is a card you can draw, yes. Move to my turn. Untap. Roll for Crypt. It's a 1. I take 3 again. I will draw for turn. I would like to tap these 4 for the 1 ring.
Or I can actually try right now. I will be activating Thrasios in response, looking at the Flusterstorm. And now I'm gonna put that on the bottom and reveal Mox Diamond. Mox Diamond goes to my hand. No further response to the 1 ring.
I will tap it. I will draw a card. I will play this Otawara as my land for turn. We're definitely doing Ashiok. We will target the Vadrik player this time.
Steam Vents, City of Brass, Dualcaster Mage, and Scalding Tarn.
Happy about that. We're not going to do the Narset at this time. Pass the turn.
Let's see if we get to play Magic. I will untap and I will draw.
Said that for a while now.
Yes. The cards in my hand are very awkward, but this does help. I'll shock in a Hallowed Fountain. And then I'd like to take a damage to tap out for Tivit. Tivit ETB. Treasure twice.
You can have a clue from me.
See, I'm not actually sure. I'm trying to work out if I would rather you get into the game to help deal with the problem child over here. I think I'm going to give you 1 treasure.
You can have another clue.
Just pass the turn.
In your end step, we're gonna activate Thrasios. Chain of Vapor can go to the bottom of the library. And Swan Song goes to my hand. I will untap and draw a card. I will pass the turn. Go for it.
Untap, upkeep, draw. You pass the turn again.
On your end step, I'd like to pay 3 mana to Deadly Rollick the Tivit.
Why do you hate?
It's a 6/6.
It's dead.
Also in the end step, I would like to activate Thrasios, revealing the top. That's a Marsh Flats. I kind of want the land, but it goes to the bottom because it's a fetch. Mountain. Comes into play tapped, and I make another zombie. Actually, wait a minute, I can still draw cards. We're activating Thrasios again. Mental Misstep. I'm gonna take the Mental Misstep to my hand.
I have a Crypt trigger and a 1 ring trigger. I will take the 1 from the 1 ring. It's a 5 again. If we take another 3, I will play this Swamp as my land for turn. Pass the turn.
Go to my turn. I will draw for turn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Cast the Tivits. Not be paying at this time. Tivit ETB. I will vote for 2 treasures again.
I will give you a clue.
You can have a clue.
Yeah, no, I will just pass.
In your end step, I'm gonna activate Thrasios. I will take this land, Underground Sea, make another zombie. And then I will activate Thrasios 1 more time, Mountain, and make another zombie. And then I will go to my turn, untap and draw a card. Thespian Stage, land drop, make another zombie that actually can't attack. Combat, we're attacking with all my 5 zombies straight at Snuske.
I will respond. I would like to overload a Cyclonic Rift.
Swan Song that. And I will pay for Study.
Pay 2 life for a Mental Misstep.
And pay for Ristic for my Mental Misstep.
I'm so afraid of what Pontus has in hand. I will tap 2, losing 1, cast a Muddle, targeting the Mental Misstep.
This is fine. I can accept this outcome.
I will pay 2 red, cast Display of Power targeting all spells on the stack, and paying for a Stick Study.
I would like to tap the 1 ring to draw 2 cards. Yeah, sadly that does happen.
So everyone can pick up all their permanents, except for myself.
We'll crack a clue. I'll draw 1 card. Chain of Vapor targeting Vadrik. You may draw.
Show you a mind tracking chain. Pay 1 for Ristic.
Yeah, I am just okay with this.
Psych Rift resolves.
So we're back to my second main phase. I'm gonna cast Subterrane Tremors. 1, 2, 3. X is going to be 3. This is gonna be enough to board wipe the Vadrik.
Yes, I have no responses to this.
I'm gonna cast this crop rotation, sacrificing this mountain.
I'm afraid I have to Mindbreak Trap this crop rotation. I'm not going to let you get Valakut here.
I'm gonna put Thrasios into play. Then I'll put this Odawara Soaring City into play, and I will create a zombie, and then I will pass the turn.
I will target the player with 15, using the red mana mode, of course. 9 red and 1 blue. We will cast a Vadrik. I will overload a Mizzix's Mastery. Spells in my graveyard at the minute are Jeska's Will, Display of Power. Display of Power on the stack targeting the Jeska's Will. Final outcome will be 2 Jeska's Wills on the stack. I'll go up to 17 red and exile a Underworld Breach and a Volk Island. I'll go up to 34 red, defabricate the Arcane Signet. I'll use 2 red for Breach for a Solve the Equation. Sudden Breakthrough to make everything easier. I'll then use 1 red for Sudden Breakthrough targeting Vadrik. That will give it +2 power. This just gave me a little bit extra power to make it easier. I'll tap for a blue. I'll cast a Brain Freeze. That will give me... so I'll put 12 copies of Brain Freeze on the stack to mill 36 cards. Yes, I can create the win now from the Sudden Breakthrough and Brain Freeze, because the Sudden Breakthrough will give me the treasure to redo the Brain Freeze. I'll pay 1 red to escape Inspired Tinkering. So this will exile the top 3 cards from my library and create 3 treasure tokens.
You might have heard that the audio quality from Zach is a little bit tricky to hear. Now we don't actually know if it's his microphone or if it's something with the internet connection. Regardless, this is how he is finishing off and winning the match. So with Sudden Breakthrough, he's able to pump up Vadrik's power, casting it from the Underworld Breach graveyard a few times, making Vadrik stronger to make all of these spells cheaper. Then with Inspired Tinkering on the stack and Reiterate, he's able to recast Reiterate over and over, because Vadrik will also reduce the buyback cost as well. So Inspired Tinkering that have been copied by Reiterate generates 3 treasures, but to cast Reiterate only costs 2 red mana, which means he can cast it infinitely, gaining infinite treasures and exiling his entire library. With infinite treasures, he will cast Lightning Bolt, and then still on the stack, holding priority, cast Reiterate and buy back it infinitely, doing infinite damage with Lightning Bolt. And Zach, with his Vadrik, wins the match. Hope you enjoyed the video, and thank you so much for watching. Personally, I made a lot of misplays in these games. I think I should have paid for the Mystic Remora a little bit longer. Sitting with Burgeoning and Mystic Remora usually pays off really well. Also really cool to see Talion tested out. I think we need to upgrade and improve on that deck a tiny bit, but it feels like it has a potential, definitely. This is now the first time Zach has lost a game on this YouTube channel. However, in this video he still won a game. Regardless, take care guys, and hope to see you next time.